Hey, y'all, what's up? Today we are talking about back to school. I know, but when you're seeing this video, it's in July. All that means is that this is going to age well, okay? There are two things I do for back to school to make sure that I don't take work home. One thing is I pre-plan. The second thing is my back stock of educational resources. It's time for me to go through and time for me to organize that. Let's go into more detail. What is pre-planning? What I call pre-planning is the week or two that we're in service. You know, the weeks that we don't get anything done because we got to do all the meeting. Those weeks, I take work home during in-service for those first 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how long you have. I get the first unit planned out, or if I'm doing an inclusion pullout, and I'm in that type of role, I get the first quarter of tasks and assessments. I get that filled out. Okay, so that's a caveat, is that I'm looking at my caseload, I'm planning out, I'm doing all that stuff as well, right? I pre-plan everything. But specifically talking about the content, I get all of that planned out, right? And is that the lesson, or is that the content that I'm going to do the day it's time for me to teach it? Probably not, right? Because stuff happens. I get different ideas. I'm collaborating. Admin wants me to put this in. I figured that this one scaffold that I have in doesn't quite work for this student. And so I have to change. I have to be flexible, but my foundation is there. I know what I'm going to do in order to plan it that way. It's not like we just got to worry about today, because I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I don't know what's happening next week. Y'all, my brain goes crazy with that. I have to be planned out, and planning out so far in advance just helps me personally. It helps me flexible, changing in the moment, but it also helps me. I don't take work home because I'm so planned out and my foundation is set so that is absolutely nothing's changed. I can teach what I have planned. I don't take work home. If stuff does pop up that needs to be adjusted or added or whatever, I can do that during my planning period. I can do that while I'm at school. It's just a sacrifice that I do during in-service, because it's a sacrifice, because I spend quite a lot of time those first couple of days. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that, I only take an hour and a half after. No, I spend quite a lot of time in in-service pre-planning, but it sets me up so much in the school year, y'all. I don't take my computer home. I barely have a book bag taking home during the week. I bring in my purse, my book bag, and my lunch bag, and I take out my purse and my lunch bag. Realistically, y'all, that's how I have it set up. Thing two, how I don't take work home, is that my backlog of teacher resources. It's time to organize all that stuff, y'all, wherever it is that you have it saved. It could be Google Drive, it could be Microsoft. I move all my stuff to Dropbox, and I have mine saved in to Dropbox. It's time to organize my folders. It's time to make sure that all my name titles are reading comprehension 2nd grade or phonics, whatever it is. It's time to make sure the tags and the headings, all of that stuff is right. Because when I need something quick, drop of the hat, I'm not trying to be Googling free resources, printable PDFs, and it's not free and it's behind a paywall, or it has the watermark on it, or you're trying to find something that actually makes sense and you're scrambling. And so now we're just going to make up something off the top of no. I've been teaching for 5 years. I've been in education for 8 years. I have a plethora of different things that I can use that I already have. And me not being able to find it in my drive is not an excuse. I don't have to pre-plan that stuff. I don't have to go home and have to go through the weeds or put stuff in place so that I can print out and put it in the little aesthetic drawers. If I'm going to do that, I can do that in the morning because I have to put in a search in my search bar and all of my stuff pops up, or go to a certain folder and everything pops up, and bam, 5 minutes and I'm to the printer, if that's what I'm choosing to do. And then for the special education side of things, guys, this is kind of a third thing, a caveat, because I do pre-plan that too. I look at my caseload. What are their present levels? What are their goals? I put that into the spreadsheet that I use so that I don't have to keep on going back to ECATs to see a present level or see a goal, right? I look at when things are due, who's due, and I put them in like 1, 2, 3, you're due first, you're due second. Do I have any reevaluations? Is this a reevaluation year, or is it just the annual? I put all that down in my list. I put all of that up so that when it comes to planning, if I'm in an inclusion role and now I'm planning for that, I'm not planning content or lessons, and I may not have my schedule yet of when I see the kids, but I'm not progress monitoring every day. Or if I see the kids 5 times a week for 30 minutes, each of those times is not a task. Guys, if we need a specific video on how I break that down, I'm more than happy to do that. But what does the goal say? Every week, every quarter, every 2 weeks? What does the goal specify? If the goal doesn't specify anything, then as a practice for myself, I'm doing the assessment, the progress monitoring, the task that I put into the data. That's happening every 2 weeks if the IEP goal doesn't specify that. So the rest of what we're doing when I see them is we're focusing on the goal, on the skill. And I'm focusing on the skill, and I'm tying that skill back in to whatever standard is at the grade level that they're supposed to be mastering at that point. If there's some prerequisites that we need to do to get there, or if the goal doesn't match this standard, that's the stuff that I'm doing, so that all of the stuff that I'm teaching, like the content that I'm doing, is 1, bringing us back to the standard, and 2, it's working on the skill. So every time I do the progress monitoring, the task, the thing that I'm going to put in the data, is not like, oh, here's the list of words, spell them back to me. That's what I'm logging. Read the sentence. How fast can you read it? We have different things that we're doing. I have a plethora of resources and stuff that I use. I'm a digital teacher, y'all. So my digital is kind of like 60-40, but there's stuff that I use that it's a class, right? I teach them stuff, and at the end of the week, 2 weeks, the quarter, the month, whatever it is, then I need to know whether you have mastered this content or how far you have progressed. And because the goal is, by the time I need to write the IEP over again, that there's goals for me to change. That's also stuff that, based on what the present levels is and what goals that I'm working with that year, that I have to pre-plan. That also happens during my in-service. So how does Miss Warren not take work home during the school year? How does Miss Warren always work her contract hours? 1, I pre-plan. And then, on the pre-planning, y'all, I schedule all my IEP meetings during the first month of school. What does that mean? It means I send out a back to school newsletter to all my parents, whether I'm doing that through email, whether I'm doing that through class tag, whatever the platform, they get a back to school newsletter. And in that newsletter, I let them know I will be reaching out to schedule all meetings by insert date here. And then I will email each parent individually and go, hey, sometimes I don't even let them know because how much advance I give people, Sometimes I kind of get with the service providers and you're only here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this kid is gonna be, it's August right now, and this kid's meeting is in November. I'm gonna schedule you right now. So by the time September hits, no matter where in the year the IEP falls, I have my whole caseload scheduled out. I put in the invitation of conferences. I send those electronically. I put in the invites, calendar invites. I send those electronically. Everything happens virtual unless you email me or unless you contact me back saying, no, I'm going to do in person. Yes, we can do that. Do I get a lot of pushback with the timing with me not reaching out to the parent first? Not really, because I give them enough time. Now, if we got one of them kids, so y'all, we don't schedule IEP meetings in August, September, May, or June. Okay? Now, if we get one of them kids who has an IEP due or annual due or a re-eval due in August or September, yes, I would reach out to the parent first because that's really quick. But if we're all special education teachers doing what we're supposed to be doing and we don't have anything scheduled for August or September, and then my first meeting happens sometime in October, I'm shooting those things out. It's scheduled for the rest of the year. And not only does that help me with my planning, now I don't have to stress about it. I put on my calendar the days that I need to send out my reminders. I do that all up front. And then I'm good. Everybody can plan to. And then, so let's recap again. How does Miss Warren not take work home? She pre-plans. And she organizes her backstock of should I do bloopers? So let's recap again. How does Miss Warren not take work home? How does she only work her contract hours? She pre-plans and then she organizes her backstock of resources. Until next time.